Hello everyone. In this session we are going to discuss about wireless LANs. Wireless LANs are the IEEE standard 802.11. We have variants of 802.11 specifications. However, we are going to discuss those specifications a little later. What 802.11 specifies is the physical and MAC sublayer of any wireless LAN. So let us begin with few of the definitions. On your screens you can see two diagrams. Collection of various stations who are capable of communicating with one another wirelessly is known as basic service set. So with the help of a rectangle, a basic service sets are shown on in the diagrams. In the left side diagram, there is no central controller, or the stations form the network amongst themselves spontaneously. So for formation of the network, some central controller is not required or is not used, and such networks are known as ad hoc networks. Other way round, when we have a central controller and the communication between the stations is carried out through that central controller, then we call it as an infrastructure network or a network in infrastructure mode. So the central controller, which is responsible for making it an infrastructure network, is called as AP, which is nothing but access point. So to summarize, collection of stations which are capable of communicating with one another wirelessly is known as basic service set. Basic service set without access point is known as ad hoc network, and basic service set with access point is known as infrastructure network. Now there is a possibility that one station from one BSS wants to have communication with another station which is in another BSS. So those BSS are also should be connected to one another, and that is done with the help of a distribution system which is abbreviated as DS. So as you can see in the diagram, extended service set is a collection of basic service sets, and all the access points through all basic service sets are connected through a distribution system. So if this station wants to have a communication with this station, then the source will try to communicate with access point, then from access point through a distribution system to another access point, and then finally to the destination. So this is the flow of data that is possible if you have multiple BSS that are able to communicate with one another. So collection of multiple BSS is known as extended service set, that is ESS. There is one thing to notice. This distribution system is connected to a server or gateway. Gateway is nothing but a protocol converter. So suppose from wireless network, if you wish to communicate with a station which is connected in a wired network, then there has to be a mediator who understands both the protocols, like wireless protocol as well as wired protocol. So gateway acts as that mediator, and so we call that gateway as a protocol converter. Another thing, access points are connected to this distribution system through a wired network. So it is possible, even if we are talking about wireless networks, access point through distribution system, which is probably a backbone, is a part of wired network. So these are the definitions of basic service set, extended service set, access point, distribution system, ad hoc network, and infrastructure network. So now let us proceed to understand how 802.1 standard is defined. This standard belongs to physical layer as well as to data link layer. Now out of data link layer, we know that data link layer is divided into two parts, LLC and MAC. We are not currently interested in LLC sublayer, right? So we have some specifications defined at LLC sublayer. Currently we are interested in MAC sublayer. Physical layer also uses various specifications like frequency hopping, direct spare spectrum, infrared technology, or frequency division multiplexing, and so on. And then you can read various names like 802.11a. Then here also this is the specification 802.11g, then N, X, B. There are lot many variants. So depending on the type of technology which is used at physical layer, the specification is defined. We are currently interested in MAC sublayer. Now in MAC sublayer, you can see two types of functions that are defined, one of which is called as point coordination function. Sorry for that, just a minute. Let me clear this slide. Okay. So this is called as point coordination function, and we have another function known as distributed coordination function. So PCF and DCF. Let us go back to the first diagram and let us start the discussion with the help of this one. Okay, infrastructure mode. So here we have access point, and MAC sublayer defines who should gain the access of the channel, right? As we have access point in infrastructure mode, access point is going to decide which station will start sending the data or who should gain the access of the channel. So stations do not have to decide for themselves, or they do not have to compete with one another. Access point will take the decision for the stations who should gain the access of the channel. And in this case, access point uses a type of function which is known as point coordination function. It is easier to remember as well. Point coordination function belongs to access point, right? And so that is why when in infrastructure mode or AP, when uses a point coordination function, the service is contention free. That means competition free. There is no competition. Access point decides and tells the station to send the data. Next type of function is distributed coordination function, which is known as DCF. DCF will be used by stations when they have to compete with one another. There is no access point to take the decision for the stations. So stations have to compete with one another to gain the access of the channel. So if you remember, in MAC protocols, we studied controlled access protocols and random access protocols. So when we have access point, we do use controlled access protocol, which is known as the polling method, which is particularly a polling method which is used by the access point. And ad hoc network uses, or stations in ad hoc network uses the random access method, where they compete with one another. So now if you take a look at the diagram, you can see that PCF, which is used by point coordination function, uses contention free service, and distributed coordination function uses contention service. So three things you will have to remember here. Access point, which is used in infrastructure mode, uses point coordination function. Stations in ad hoc mode use distributed coordination function. Point coordination function uses contention free service because access point takes the decision. They don't have to compete with one another. On the other hand, in stations using DCF in such a network, contention service is used because stations have to be contenders of one another. So this is all about the physical layer and MAC sublayer specifications of 802.11 standard. Now we will study the next part in another video. Thank you.